It's Friday afternoon, a little time in the office, catching up on some grading preparation for next week's university classes. And also, what I try to do with some margin in time is to continue to test different AI generator platforms to see what the capabilities are in my courses. I have been teaching, and I will teach again later this semester, our communication research course. And in that, we do quantitative data analysis. Always have used a really reliable open source software, and I like that because it's a great piece of software, also no cost to students. It's called JASP, JASP. And again, for a lot of our students, they might go back into their home market areas and work at small businesses. And I've had students have, again, access to open source software, no cost to them, and they can perform the same methodologies and consumer research studies that we do in class. So in that, though, I continue to think I'm also teaching a new artificial intelligence prompting for advertising course. What are the capabilities of the AI generators as we do research? And it is iterating because I've tested this process. We use Microsoft, the 365 platform. I have the app downloaded, and in that, I use the Microsoft Copilot. Again, that's a partner enterprise partnership at our university. So I test with Copilot for one. And 6 months ago, I would not have suggested this was possible. Now I'm retesting again with the simplest effort, and it's pretty proficient. So what I've done is just this. I have a simulated data set I'm going to be using in my research course. It's about the Stanley, thermal tumbler drinkware products, and a simulated data set, and we'll do some consumer perception and satisfaction testing in that. But instead of, again, we will this semester again load it into JASP, so the students have the actual testing experience of running, linear regression, logistic regression, reliability testing on our group of scale variables, neural network graphic interpretation, which is related to correlations, possibly some classification or regression decision tree building, ANOVA testing, analysis of variance for differentiations among subgroups within descriptive variables, etc. So we do that type of testing, but for now we're going to do it in JASP. But my point here is, at what point do we take a look at possibly showing we have to just move forward for the efficiency's sake of testing in Copilot AI? So what I've done, again, I just dropped in this same Excel data set. It's a very simple, clean data set that I simulated for this course. And then one thing I always teach my students, you have to go Shift Enter to get a new line in your prompt box. If you just hit enter, it executes on whatever is in the prompt box. So, again, Shift and enter to get a new line. And then I always make notes of simply what columns the data is in. So if I type here, my typing today, late in the afternoon, independent variables are columns A through L. Dependent variable is column M. Okay, and what these are attribute variables, consumer testing and survey response of different attributes of the Stanley, drinkware. And then a column M was an overall satisfaction measure. So I type this much in, and then I'm going to go, Shift Enter again, and I'm going to go run linear regression. And then I'm going to put here include p-scores and t-scores. In introductory data testing, I usually talk most about those two variables, those two test results. P-score, of course, you've got to test for significance in each of the variables, independent variables related to the dependent variable. Is that a significant variable test? And then also t-score, to me, in a practical sense, can become sort of the power of that variable within a significant test. Okay, so I'll put this much in there, and then I click execute, and let's see what we get in Microsoft Copilot. again, I'm just doing this, Dave. I believe if I'm correct from my earlier research, I think Copilot is running and coding Python in the background, which would be similar. And again, I am not a coder, but I have used R in our studio. And true data scientists who know how to code realize they can code and build in our studio. So I believe it's running that kind of coding in the background to get these results. Here it tells me to missing or invalid values. There might be a couple empty cells in there. And so let me just put clean and run and see if that doesn't execute it. It's fine. Again, it's examining the data set. It's trying to understand what's in there. So far it all looks right. So here we go. They ran it and here it is. And I'm going to do this because otherwise I can't show you in the screen. Show results here. And let's see if that does that. Because if it pops up as another screen, it's not capturing it in my video for you today. So let's just see if it can't go ahead and put it in a box so we can look at it. Okay, here it is. So here it is. And I'll tell you, it's really everything I would need to show students, what's going on and how to test. And here, you look at it, even here it shows it even segmented it out. It shows here's the significant predictor variables. It even shows you that. It helps you. See, otherwise students have to go down the list and I have to teach them how to check which p-value constitutes significance, et cetera. Here it already shows what it is. Here's marginal predictors and here's the full summary here, but here's the variables. And the point is I've got the t-score to talk about the power of that relationship in a significant test. It's all here. Now, I'll just say this, what I have been doing to date, I've been taking results like this, and then I'll run the same exact test with the same data set in JASP. And here's what I'm finding. It is identical. And if not identical, it's just off by, and maybe it's just in the coding of Python with whatever JASP is running. And I believe that is, coding, of course, R-type coding in the background too. Again, I'm not a coder. But what I see there is that the results are very similar. And if there are any dissimilarities, it is not enough to alter the meaning of the tests. So once again, I'm thinking about this and I'm realizing how many shortcuts to efficiency can there be? How will this affect our students going into the industry where, research is an absolute key component of driving strategy, which it again drives creative. So what is research and what are clients going to be willing to pay for? How much service will they need if AI again can constantly seemingly iterate and improve efficiencies? Now, the problem in this I see is it will become so easy to use just by, writing out some simple prompts. But what are the learning outcomes in those steps? We understand less and less about what those results mean, what's happening with the data. One of my professors at University of Florida, when I got my doctorate, always talked about dots in the room. Those are all the responses to hundreds of surveys and how the software is twisting and turning dots in a room to find the best fit, which gives you the significant relationships. How do you teach all that if it's just all happening instantaneously within our AI prompting? That's it for today. Hope that helps, and I'll keep you posted if there are new updates with artificial intelligence and data analytical testing. All right, bye-bye now.